Fortune 500 marketing maven and best-selling author Robert Michael Fried is a highly sought-after speaker for corporate sales meetings, corporate think tanks, trade associations, college campuses, and civic and religious organizations.
But you know what? Most of us don't have a clue as to what our true purpose in life is. As a matter of fact, this was research study by Dr. William Morton. He asked 3,000 people what their true purpose in life was. And get this, a whopping 94% said, we have absolutely no idea what our true purpose in life is. Well, I'll tell you what unhappiness is. Unhappiness is not knowing what you want and killing yourself to get it.
Around that same time, I came across this riveting quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who has a kind of a meaningful handle on success. And he said something like, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have success. Well, unfortunately for me, by that standard of success, I wasn't very successful. See, I was all about personal scorecard. I was all about me, how fast, how soon, how much. I needed to learn the hard way that true success always involves others beyond yourself. And that true success is achieving that delicate balance, if you will, between making money and making meaning. And here's the irony. The same principles, the same strategies you use to achieve success at work could be kind of reapplied to our personal lives to achieve success there as well. I guess what I'm saying is simply this. We need to make it, how should I say it, our business to improve our life. We need to make our life our best venture yet. We need to ignite our true purpose and passion to become entrepreneurs, if you will, of our own existence.
You know, as professionals, and especially sales professionals, setting goals is business as usual. But when it comes to setting goals on a personal level, that's a horse of a different color. It's a lot more challenging, a lot more difficult. And speaking of goals, it really surprises me. No, it amazes me that most people don't know the difference between an objective and a goal. So bear with me and I'll make it come alive for you. An objective is general in nature. For instance, an objective is I'd like to lose weight. But a goal is always, did I say always? Quantifiable. It's got time. It's got numbers attached to it. So keeping it within that weight vernacular, if an objective is I'd like to lose weight, general, a goal is specific. I'd like to lose 14 pounds over the next 18 weeks and keep that weight off forever with a sensible diet and exercise program. So remember, vague goals often produce what? Vague results. Maybe you should think of it like this. Goals are really dreams with deadlines attached to them.
How in the world does one find their true purpose?
Let's start by saying this. It doesn't come neatly packaged as some sort of epiphany. It doesn't come gift wrapped. It starts with a kind of an itch, kind of an urge that says, this doesn't feel right in the pit of my stomach. The Little Prince has a great quote. It says, one sees clearly only with the heart. And when you begin to start inside before you go outside, you're well on your way to finding your true purpose.
Okay. Nothing happens in business and life until somebody sells something. Heck, even a starving artist has to sell something sometime, or are they going to get the money for the easels and the paint, or even the brushes? In life, as well as business, we have to sell our goals, we have to sell our dreams, we have to sell our concepts, but most of all, you know what we need to sell? We need to sell ourselves. Because get this, people buy valuables from people they value.
Well, just like the CEO of a company, you're in charge of your own personal brand. Okay, it's not Nike, it's not Apple, it's not Google, it's not Facebook or Twitter. You're in charge of a very important brand, get this, called Me Inc. And when you build a personal brand, you're kind of building a pulpit for the value you offer to others. You're also extolling your demonstrable differences and your uniqueness, which comes in pretty handy in that all-important job interview. I have a stock tip for you today. You want to buy stock? Then take personal stock in a very valuable company called Me Inc. you know what? It'll be the best investment you ever made.
Every time I get in front of people who sell, you got to talk about goal setting. I like to approach it a little differently. I think it's extremely important to point out here that your personal dreams and hitting your career goals are literally joined at the hip. For example, you might want to send your kids to the best schools. You might want to buy a new car. It's going to be a lot easier to do that when you hit your commission checks and increase your sales, right? So it's nice to make meaning, but you know what? I found out you can make even more meaning when you make money. Gives you more options, doesn't it? So never throw the baby out with the bathwater.
People, like companies, especially successful people, should be in a constant state of evolution. In business, we have product cycles. In life, we have life cycles as we go through the passages of life. You know, there's this great quote that says, "No man steps in the river twice, because it's not the same river, he's not the same man."
When you talk about personal reinvention, who are some people you think who've done this successfully?
That's a good question. You know what comes to mind? Mark Wahlberg. I mean, here's a kid that was a juvenile delinquent. He got thrown in the clinker at age 16. He comes out, puts a band together, records a #1 hit, then becomes a, let's just say, provocative underwear model for Calvin Klein, becomes an actor, wins an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and now he's one of the most powerful producers in all of Hollywood with Boardwalk Empire and Entourage. I guess Lady Gaga also comes to mind. I mean, she reinvents herself, I guess, every time she steps on the stage. Also, George Foreman. I mean, you know, when he was the antagonist with Muhammad Ali, he was a surly character. Nobody really liked him. But now he's an affable, lovable pitchman for the George Foreman grilling machine. So people, successful people, are constantly in a state of reinvention.
Perhaps the biggest obstacle in achieving your goals is overcoming the fear of failure. And simply put, though, you stop and think about it, high-achieving people are simply not afraid to fail. Think of it like this. Baseball batters go to the Hall of Fame by failing, get this, 2 out of 3 times. Do the math. You get 1 hit out of 3 times at bat, you're batting .333, and you're on your way to Cooperstown. Think about that. The punchline is simple. To be successful in sales, you got to hang in there. You got to have tenacity. You got to have perseverance. I was going to say you got to have heart, but I'll spare you that agony. You got to have perseverance. And speaking of perseverance, sometimes tenacity and perseverance is the kicker between those who succeed and those who don't. I think we've all had moments in our lives, haven't we, when our powers of perseverance prevailed. But here are some classic examples I'm going to give you as to why you should persevere and never, ever give up. Good old Winston Churchill. Old Winnie was the odds-on favorite at the age of 33 to become Prime Minister of Great Britain. But he didn't achieve that post until age 66 when World War II broke out. To add some levity, actress Susan Lucci lost her bid for a soap opera Emmy, get this, 18 years in a row before she finally won her coveted Emmy in 1999. She looks pretty good there. You all know this. Thomas Edison failed 4,000 times before he invented the light bulb. But the king, the absolute king of perseverance is Honest Abe Lincoln. Here's a guy who lost a venerable string of elections prior to winning the presidency of the United States. So I don't think we should be afraid to fail. You know why? We're in darn good company.
Igniting Your True Purpose and Passion can be found at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and at iTunes.